Job interviews. You know, for most of us, they can be pretty nerve-wracking. I mean, you can be the most qualified person in the world, but the second those questions start flying, your confidence can just, poof, disappear. But what if you could walk in there knowing what they're really asking? Well, today, we're going to crack the code on the most common interview questions and turn all that anxiety into a real advantage.
So let's just start with this fundamental question right here. What is the actual point of an interview question? A lot of us think it's some kind of memory test, right? Like, can we recite our resume without messing up? But honestly, that's missing the entire point.
Here's the thing. The real goal is to see the human being behind all that paper. Every single question is a test of your personality, your self-awareness, and how you think on your feet. They're looking for a future colleague, not just a walking, talking list of skills. So keep this in mind, because it's the master key that unlocks the right answer to every single question we're about to go over. Okay, let's kick things off with the classic opener. You know the one I'm talking about. The one you are almost guaranteed to hear first. So tell me about yourself. This is your moment. This is your shot to make a really powerful first impression. Look, the interviewer does not want your entire life story. They want a quick, professional pitch. And the secret to doing that is a really simple 3-step formula. First, keep it brief. Focus on your recent work. Second, you have to tailor your story specifically for this job. And third, this is the most important one, back up everything you say with real, concrete achievement. Let's just look at the difference here, because it's huge. A weak answer is just listing a duty. At my last job, I was responsible for cold calling. Okay, but a strong answer, that's all about the result. I drove over $210,000 in new business through cold calling. See, by putting a number on it, you're not just saying what you did, you're proving you were amazing at it. And that is what makes an interviewer really pay attention.
All right, let's move on to the next set of questions. These are all designed to see if you've got the skills and the drive to actually succeed in the role. This is where you prove you're the solution they've been looking for.
So when they ask about your greatest strength, the goal is to be confident but not, arrogant. So just stick to one key strength, make sure it's super relevant to the job description, and then prove it with a short, compelling example. I mean, anybody can say they're a great leader. You have to actually show them. For that big one, why should we hire you? You basically got 3 main playbooks. You can focus on how your skills are a perfect match. You can talk about your passion for the company's mission, or, and this is especially true for senior roles, you can explain how you are the exact person who can solve their biggest headaches. And this brings us to what I like to call the golden rule. It applies to pretty much every answer you're going to give. When you talk about what you've done, don't be vague, be specific. Make it impactful. You should never, ever say something like, I drove a lot of traffic. Instead, say something powerful, like, my work generated over $130,000 in revenue. Numbers just cut through all the noise. They're solid proof of the value you can bring to their team. Okay, let's dive into the questions that can feel like total traps. The ones designed to test your honesty and your self-awareness when you're under pressure. Ah, yes, the question everybody dreads. It feels like there's no right way to answer it, doesn't it? But trust me, there absolutely is. And there is definitely a wrong way. We've all heard this answer, right? A lot of us have probably even used it, thinking it's some clever way to turn a negative into a positive. But here's the secret. They see right through it. Answering this way doesn't make you look dedicated at all. It makes you look like you're dodging the question and that you lack genuine self-awareness. It's a cliche for a reason, and it's one you really have to avoid. So the right way to do it is a simple 2-step formula. First, be honest. Pick a real but minor weakness, one that isn't going to disqualify you for the job. And second, and this is the most important part, show them you're aware of it and you are actively taking steps to get better. This just screams maturity and a real commitment to personal growth. When you have to explain why you left a previous job, never, ever badmouth a former boss or your old coworkers. It's just unprofessional and it makes you look like you could be a problem. Instead, frame it in terms of your own ambition for growth. It's positive, it's forward-looking, and it keeps the focus right where it should be, on you. Now, when they ask where you see yourself in 5 years, let's be real, they're not actually asking for your detailed life plan. Just think of this as the loyalty test. What they really want to know is if you're a good long-term investment. So your answers should show ambition that lines up with the opportunities at this company, suggesting you actually see a future with them.
All right, let's fast forward to the end of the interview. You've answered all their questions, but now the tables have turned. This is your last and maybe your best chance to really stand out. When the interviewer asks, "So, do you have any questions for us?" this is the one answer you absolutely cannot afford to give. It is a massive red flag.
So why is that such a red flag? Because this isn't just a formality. It's your final test. Not asking any questions signals that you're not really that interested or that you didn't prepare. This is your chance to show them you've done your homework and you are genuinely curious about the role, the team, and the company itself.
So make sure you come prepared with 2 or 3 thoughtful questions. You can ask about the day-to-day, like, what does a typical day in this role actually look like? Or maybe something about the company culture. It shows you're not just looking for any old job, you're looking for the right job. Okay, so let's bring it all home. A great interview is not just a Q&A session. It's a conversation where you prove your value. By understanding the real question behind the question, you go from just answering to actively showing them that you are the solution they've been searching for. Because that's what a company is hiring for, right? Not just a candidate who can answer questions well, but a future teammate who can walk in on day one and start making a real impact. So go into your next interview with that mindset, and you are going to absolutely ace it.